Good morning. Good morning. It has been a long night. Wow. It's good to see you guys. It's good to be here. I had a lot to unpack. Still digesting it. I mean, it was just, wow. What did we see? You know? I don't know. Oh, let's get into it. How is everybody? Good to see all of you. Let's see. Who do we got here? Frosty, VZ. Why are my glasses fogging? Kim, Carrie, Linda. Good to see you. Heather. Oh, you guys. Last night what we watched wasn't made for TV drama. It wasn't a Lifetime movie. Sure, maybe one day it will be. Sure, maybe it will be. But it wasn't. That's not what we watched. I watched, I don't know if you did, but I watched absolute carnage of a family, a gutted family, it was I'm not blaming anybody for airing anything. I don't, you know, Don is fully capable of making his own decisions. When I say fully capable, I mean he makes them, but he makes the wrong ones most of the time. But we are dealing with real humans. We're dealing with these are real people with real family, with children. They're creatures of habit. If you think, and I doubt any of you think this, but if you think for a second that that's not what went on with those kids in that house, or that that venom that we all saw last night towards each other, they showed towards each other, was never spewed upon the children, well, I wouldn't know what to tell you. But that was real life. That was Friday night. That was Saturday. That is Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's every day. It's just how it is. Okay. And I hope that people are watching. Okay. So here's the thing. Creatures of habit is an expression, right? but it's also completely true. We have these things called neural pathways in our brains that we hardwire over time from very young to very old. That's why somebody who say they have a tragic accident and they can't remember their name, but they played the piano their whole life. They might not be able to remember their name, but they can still play the piano. That's true. Played the piano their whole life, they can still play the piano. Can't remember their own name, still remember how to play the piano. Okay. And so what happens is you get locked into this routine, and it's all of us. Now some people's routines are much better than others, and that's where, we differ. If you think about it, most of the time, if you're going to go and eat, you have a list in your head of places you frequent. That there's not going to be too many, there's not going to be a lot of, there's not going to be a lot of deviating from the script. I mean, there's just not a lot of it, You're not going to deviate from the script. Have you ever went to a restaurant and say, I want to try something new, but no, I don't want to try something. I want to try something new, but I don't want to waste this opportunity to eat something that I don't like. How many times does that happen? Has that ever happened to you guys? Oh, well, I know what I like, but I want to try something different, but what if it's a letdown? That keeps us in our habit. We stick to what we know and what we are comfortable with. I want to try something new today. But, the last 30 years have worked out pretty solid. I'm going to stick with the lo mein, or whatever it is. And so you may, and usually it comes from, say, having a bad experience with trying something new. It just doesn't go that well, right? It just doesn't go the way that it should. It's like, oh, that was a letdown. I really should have stuck with what I knew. I should have stuck with what I knew. Dawn and Candace are creatures of habit, just like we are. Their habits seem to involve drugs, alcohol, fighting, and totally self-destructive, decaying behavior. I mean, their whole life is in a constant decay. I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean that in the most literal sense of the term. I'm assuming that they don't exercise, they smoke, they probably don't eat right. I'm guessing they don't eat right. They choose drugs and alcohol because that's what they know. That's what they're deep, and they're just in constant misery. They're in constant misery because they're living a life of just constant decay. Your bones don't get stronger by just sitting around. You have to work them. Your legs don't get strong by just sitting around. You have to work them. Your brain doesn't get sharper by not expanding your horizons, and they are by either some fault of their own, all of it of their own, but they have been taught that this is the way that you live your life. This is how they live. This is what they know. You would think that at some point beating your head against the wall would get tiring. It would get tiring. But it just hasn't, because this is what they know. The codependent toxic environment, misery loves company. When are you coming to bed? Get off the effing phone. Who are you talking to? She has trust issues. There's all kinds of just gnarly stuff going on in that house. Pre summer going missing, post summer going missing, and I'm guessing time immemorial. If you think that, like, okay, so if somebody was to say to me and call me personally effing dumb bee, or an asshole or whatever, see, that's not normal talk in my house, and I would be pretty upset if somebody were to talk to me this way. And I said, well, don't talk to me like that, because I'm not going to talk to somebody else like that, right? And in their world, that is normal. I mean, it is amazing to watch. It is amazing to watch in real life the ups and downs. When Don and Candace start fighting, and when they go from it's one extreme to the next. It's one extreme to the next, okay? It's your dumb F and B, and then she's like, "You call me an F and B, you're a dumbass, this, that." It's and then within a matter of seconds, they're okay again. Oh, well, let's just put that aside. Boom. I mean, you saw Don turn on almost everybody the minute he doesn't like the questions that he's asked. He goes to his neural pathways, his neurotransmitters that say, "You're a dumb F and B, F you. What the F do you know? What the F do you da 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 da?" And then Candace is like bawling in the background. Why? Because she's upset. Some say she's in pain, but I'm guessing this is a kind of constant thing. He doesn't even acknowledge that she's wailing in the background, right? Well, that is just an unacceptable. I you sit there and you watch. It's just like these children, God bless them, and God keep them safe. Because if CPS or law enforcement, and I'm sure that they aren't paying attention to what's going on, they should be. And I'm really, I wasn't naive to what was going on. I mean, I mean, I knew that this was their normal, but it's one thing to watch, or it's one thing to hear about it, and then there's one thing to witness it. And we all witnessed it, and we'll all forever be able to witness it. And that's what's terrible about this, is that these there's these little there's these little kids involved with a gag order, and we have drunk, sloppy people breaking gag orders, talking about things that they're not supposed to talk about. They're not fit to run their own lives. And that's not even being judgmental. I promise you, I'm not being judgmental. They're just not. They're not healthy in sound mind. Of sound mind, not in sound mind, of sound mind. They're not. They're addicts. Man, they're addicts. They're and there's a lot of people say, "Oh, I believe Dawn, or I believe Candace, or I believe," okay, well, that is totally fine, and that's your prerogative. But let me explain to you a little bit more of a creature of habit. Dawn is an admitted liar, an admitted criminal, and this spans half a century. Who talks about having an alibi when their daughter goes missing? I have an alibi. Oh, yeah? You have an alibi. Is that what you're worried about? You have an alibi? You feel solid about having an alibi. It's not about having an alibi. Where's your daughter? I'm not worried about your alibi. Where's your daughter? You have an alibi? You have 7 alibis? Why do you want what are you gonna make a point of that for? You have 7 alibis. Okay. And then he goes on to say that Candace has no alibis and that she's going down. Now, this could be taken many different ways. He says, I have 7 alibis. Candace doesn't have any, and she's going down. He could be mad at Candace. He could be mad at Candace. And so he's just talking BS. Okay. He's just talking BS. Or he knows that there's something wrong. He knows that Candace, or he doesn't believe exactly what Candace has told him. He knows exactly what happened. Candace knows exactly what happened. Well, I say exactly, but they know what happened. Whether they did it or they know who did what. And he basically just completely tossed her under the bus last night, like he's been insinuating on. If you don't think that Dawn will sell Candace up the river for a bag of chips, then oh he doesn't care. He doesn't care about Candace's freedom. They're codependent. He's lonely. If you watch, when he was on Doug's channel last night talking about, he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave. And the reason that he hasn't, because he has more than likely has knowledge after the fact or helped with whatever happened. In one way, shape, or form, you're probably right. But he didn't want to get off panel. He was willing to talk to everybody. Well, he's not going to love the attention he's getting this morning. And I don't blame anybody. Look, I don't blame anybody for putting them on. If they're willing to come on, I guess, more power to them. But what Dawn is on right now is what I call an apology tour. Well, it's not really an apology tour. It's an innocence tour. It's an innocence tour. And what he's doing is he's trying to change public perception of him, but he can't, because as soon as you say the wrong thing to him, he's not capable of going, yes, ma'am. Sorry that you feel that way. He goes from F you, you F and B. Who the F do you think you are? Don't raise your F and voice to me. Who do you think you are? Okay, well then, just like that, guess what? Guess what? Public perception. You don't do yourself any favors. You didn't do yourself any favors. You blew your gag order. You threw your wife under the bus. Again, like you throw everybody under the bus. You threw your wife under the bus. You threw everybody else under the bus except yourself. And when you're watching Molly's show and she asks, do you know her birthday? Well, that's not some gotcha moment. Okay, it's just not a gotcha moment. Is anybody surprised by that? I'm not. That doesn't prove anything. Does it come off bad? Sure. Doesn't prove anything, but all it did was piss him off. But it doesn't prove anything. It wasn't like, oh, gotcha, you killed your daughter. You don't know when her birthday is. Ha ha ha. No, that's not what that was. He genuinely doesn't know when his daughter's birthday is. He probably doesn't even know his other kid's birthday, and he has struggled with knowing their exact age. You're probably right. But the problem is it's everywhere already. It's everywhere already. Do we know there? No, we don't. And it's just not really. And Luca, I get what you're saying, but both of these people are older than I am. And should we Should we really? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. No, neither one of them are okay. I mean, if you're asking if they're alive, I assume so. But no, they're none. Neither one of them are okay. Yeah, it's getting to the point where you watch what happened last night, and then you go, Summer never had a chance. She never had a chance. Those boys never had a chance. And then Don goes on talking about how he's sneaking, talking to them. Like, what the freak are you doing? You're not. And then the reason that they don't want him talking to the kids or they don't want him talking to the kids about the Summer situation is because they don't want him controlling their narrative. That's it. They want to know what those kids know uninterrupted by people with special interests that could possibly end up in jail. That's why they don't want you talking to them about it. What is that's not that hard to understand. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm surprised that they're even allowed to talk to the kids at all because Don said last night that he was sneaking talking to one of his kids about his sister, Summer. And a lot of legal lines were crossed last night. A lot of I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I should have turned it off. I didn't. I kept watching. Just going, oh, holy moly. I wish I would have been able to walk away from it. I don't have anything to say to Dawn or Candace unless they want to talk about where Summer is. I've come to that conclusion on my own. That's just how I feel personally. That's just it personally. I'm just, I don't have any interest in rehashing anything. I don't need more friends. I have enough. I have enough. But is he lying about speaking to the boys? I mean, I don't know. He lies about everything. Mostly. Mostly. It's just, yeah, I turn, you turn it off and then you check back in and then you hear the bellowing and you're going, oh my God. Like, I think that that these creatures of habit, like we all are, their habits are drugs, alcohol, abuse, turmoil, fighting, and that's how they live. That's how they thrive. That's a normal night. Don't break my effing door, you dumb bee. Oh, you're gonna call me dumb bee, you dumbass. First of all, a husband and wife shouldn't talk to each other that way. Second of all, two humans shouldn't talk to each other that way because there were kids. There were kids in that house at one point that listened to this. why would the boys want to go back? Why would anybody want to go back there? That place is hell. And I don't understand. I don't understand what it was like for those children. I got a glimpse of it last night, and I couldn't handle it. I got a glimpse of it last night, and this is something that these children lived every single day. Josh said too nerdy. Just posted. Both Candace and Don recognize their drinking has gotten out of control. Well, yeah, but that's that right. But they say this all the time. Don says this all the time. They'll be drunk tonight. They'll be drunk tonight. They'll be drunk tonight, and the world turns and turns and turns. Let's see. When we pulled into the church, Candace had no idea we were coming, nor did we anticipate seeing her. She's sitting in her car weeping. Well, that's what she does. She likes to cry. She likes to cry. I mean, that's her whole life. Misery. Whether it's her fault or not. Was it her fault? Yeah, it is. They can't even follow simple instructions. They can't even follow simple instructions. I don't know who that is. I hate that like my phone rings right through. I don't know who that is because I don't want to know who that is. Is it once a liar, always a liar? Well, once a liar means that look, everybody's lied. Does everybody make habits out of it? Not always. But the fact is that they're not telling the truth. They're not telling the truth, and it's killing them. Don looked near death last night. If you ask me, um, he looks terrible. Candace looks terrible. Like in the 4 months or 5 months that we've been covering this, Don looks like he's aged about 15 years. He looks awful. It just he looks awful. Candace sounds awful. Um, and that's what a life of drinking and smoking and drugs will do to you. It just what is he 57 years old? It puts you that's the perfect age to for it all to catch up with you. It's the perfect age for it all to catch up with you. But lost in all of this, we're talking about a bunch of people who we know where they are. We know where the boys are. What we don't know is where Summer is. And that is the minutia that we are trying to sift through. That's the swamp of drugs, alcohol, lies, deceit, and abuse. And somewhere in there is the truth about what happened to Summer. Don says he has 7 alibis. Says Candace doesn't have any. Was he being a dick to her? I don't know. Was he taunting her? It's a pretty evil taunt. Especially if you know your wife didn't have anything to do with it. Why would you say that? You've been so adamant that your wife is not lying to you, but then in joking, you go, well, you know, she don't have an alibi for her kid missing. She's going down. She's going down. She's going down. I have 7 alibis. She has none. She's going down. So either he's telling the truth that she doesn't have any alibis and that she's going down, or he's the biggest dickhead of all time. I'm going to kind of wrap that into a burrito because that was wrong. In my opinion, they were wrong to keep asking about the boys. Yeah, I get. Yeah, I would. I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but that gag order is their responsibility. I mean, you don't think like you don't you know. I get what you're saying. It's not something I would do, but it is something other people do. And look, that's just kind of how this social media thing works. Don knows he's not supposed to do it, yet he does it anyway. Don knows he's not supposed to drink and drive, but he does it anyway. He knows he's not supposed to hit people, but he does it anyway. He doesn't care. And it's his problem. My advice to Dawn, if you're watching this, is to stay off social media. You're not doing yourself any favors, and you're not helping your daughter. If this truly is, if she is out there, this is a major waste of time. I don't care that much about your messed up life. I really don't. I'm not trying to be mean. It's sad, but you don't think I've seen, I see messed up people all the time. There's drug addicts everywhere. So I don't really care that much about their personal life, although it does give you insight into what these children were having to deal with. He says, "Oh, I picture her in a buried somewhere, and that she's dead." And mm, she's what? Well, so you go from one it is very, very strange because he goes back and forth from past tense to present. Very fast. I don't care. They're done. All of them wrong. Justice is what needed. People need to be better and take ownerships of their lives. No church will help that. That's 100% true. Don is controlling everyone on YouTube. Look at the BS, and he's like, "Well, that's what he." So that's kind of what he does. He's moving on like a malignant cell, and he's going from YouTuber to YouTuber, trying to convince people that he has nothing, that they have nothing to do with this. They're above they're above suspicion. Why would anybody think I loved my daughter? I loved my daughter with all my heart. She loved her daddy. And it's sickening. But the problem is when Don is trying to push a narrative, he flips out. He loses it. He cannot control himself. He was like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm hanging out with you guys. And then as soon as he's done there, he hops over to some person that he's never even met or talked to, thinking that he can convince them. And if you ever notice and say, well, I agree with that. And he goes, well, all right. Well, all right. Well, all right. Well, thank you. Well, all right. And when you stroke his ego, he's like, okay, well, there you go. See? Exactly. Exactly. He's just very like, you gotta believe me. And then once you give him something, you can really suck him in. I mean, that's yeah. It is just I feel I hope you feel better, and it's sorry to hear about what you're going through. You just try and stay strong. It's a terrible thing. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I don't know if they are or if they aren't. Yeah, buddy and brother. Yeah, sure. I mean, he certainly does. He certainly does. What is, what is the point to all this? What do you mean? What's the point to all what? The fact that there's a little girl missing amongst a circus event? Is that what we're talking about? What's the point to that? The point would be to try and find out where their daughter is. That is the point of all of this. Of all, you think that I enjoyed my Friday night by watching two drug addicted alcoholics yell at each other? I mean, that's nothing new. Oh, okay. I got you here. Well, he's just erratic. That there is he's trying to drive his own narrative. He wants to be in control, and for some reason, he's latched onto the YouTube community because I don't know, maybe there's monetary value in it for him. And prayers for you, Pink Butterfly. There's absolutely truth in what he says. And like I said, the fact that he would even insinuate that his wife, or I don't even know if they're married or not, but uh man, you know, that it really it begs belief. It does. It begs belief. 100%. Yeah, I get it. I mean, he's a lonely. I mean, a couple days ago, Don said he wanted to talk to me and Doug about a legal matter. And so I'm going, you shouldn't talk to me about any legal matter, but okay, I'll bite. And I called him. And the conversation was mundane. There was nothing in there of any importance. He was trying to get me to, you know, campaign for him. And when I call, you know, he said, "Hey, buddy, how you doing? What you been up?" And my first response was, "What can I do for you?" Um, but he didn't have anything exactly to tell me, and he was working. He was working. I could hear him drywalling. Swear to God. Say, "Oh, I hope you're not recording me. I hope you're not recording me." And I wasn't. And even if I was, nobody would ever hear it. There was nothing of substance in there. I swear to God, he was drywalling. He was working. I swear, I could hear it. Like like that stupid um little sound bite that I play. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I don't know where he was working, but I could hear that big old scrape. He was working. Fact. He was working. Yeah, he loves talking on the phone, man. But he feels like he has nothing, nobody. And then he goes into a pity party, and it's just really sad. For the kids. I don't really care about some 57-year-old drunk man. I really don't. That's not exclusive to East Tennessee. It's not exclusive to any part of the world. There are just alcoholics. I mean, it is what it is. I've even met extremely nice alcoholics that just have problems. There's alcoholics everywhere. I don't give a shit about his drug and alcohol problems. I don't care about their drug and alcohol problems. I hope they get help, and I hope that they overcome what they're trying to do in life. I wish them all the best, but I have no feelings towards them. The human the human part of me, empathizes. I'm not immune to feeling bad for somebody, but I feel bad for the kids, the children. The children are always collateral damage. I personally am collateral damage. I know what it is. And those kids, they have a long road ahead of them in life, and their sister is gone, and it doesn't look like she's coming back, and God help us, the day that it's discovered if she is in fact perished. And God help whoever hid her or placed her body somewhere, or anything like that. God help you. Pretty soon they're going to start blaming each other, which that's already kind of started. But the fact remains that Summer is missing, and we don't know where she is. Nobody does, except a couple people. Rita said that I'm trusted. I hope so. I hope so. There was somebody in here earlier. I think somebody, a good supporter. They didn't want to hear about it anymore. They made it very well known on their way out. That's fine. I am I am totally with you. You don't want to hear any more about this shit? Fine. I can't blame you. I can't blame you. Well, the fact is that Summer Wells is a 5-year-old girl who's missing. She's missing. Nobody's heard or seen from her since June 15th, if that's even the actual day. Who knows? Did she wander off? Did she hurt herself playing hide and go seek? Did you see? For Don to even jokingly insinuate that, even, and I really don't think it was a joke. Maybe he was being an asshole. He's good at that. Josh, this was the worst case to bring anyone into true crime. Yeah, it's. I don't know. Sure, absolutely. I mean, they don't have to. And I don't know. It's So I get that people are kind of at their wits' end. Sadly, from the beginning of this case, it was built on lies. I don't know. A lot of the times we just don't find out the truth. I mean, even if Summer's found, that doesn't mean that we're going to get the answers that we're looking for. And I saw Beatrice leave. She was upset. That's fine. I'm not upset. She very complimentary on her way out. She didn't want to hear about it anymore. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see. Crime language. Let's see here. For me, it's strange. Candace, the mother, doesn't speak, but the person who says he wasn't there. Right. Oh, exactly. Let me drive the ship. Let me quarterback this thing. It is. It is. It's like it's a like I said. It's a soap opera right in front of our eyes. It's a real life, real people, real children, real feelings. And if you think you get invested in TV shows, this isn't a TV. This is. I mean, I guess that's why they call it true crime. I do hate that term, but it is. It's just real life is what this is. Um, let's see here. By the way, did anybody notice when Candace said, "Play your little game, Donnie"? Go ahead, play your little game. Was she talking about his little YouTube game? I found that interesting. Play your little game. I have. There's no solving that one. You guys did hear that. Play your little game, Donnie. Play your little game. Yeah, she knows. Well, yeah, he's trying to play a game with us. Right. It is. It's like looking at a fishbowl. If Don had 7 alibis, he'd be cleared. I agree. I've seen a lot of cases. Yeah. Yeah. This isn't this is I guess when it comes to YouTube, but this is my I mean, yeah. This is a really crappy situation. It's just a terrible situation. The same thing goes for Orrin and Orson. Classic and sincere, whatever you want to call them. Uh Angel Overstreet, all these kids. The problem is you don't have these folks on the internet every day showing their ass. And if Don wanted to, he could just let the investigation continue without really trying to interrupt it. Don is a career criminal. That's a fact. That is a fact. Nightmare on Chipman Street was a rough case to read about. Um, yeah, Nightmare. Yeah, that is one. That's one of the worst crimes I've ever heard of. Um, Joshua, I speak facts. I appreciate that. You know, I just it's ask the boys what their dad. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I am absolutely sure of it. Yeah, yeah. You know, people were saying that. I'm not sure. Maybe you need to unsubscribe, resubscribe, and then hit the bell again. Is that what? Can somebody help Denise with that? Um, how are you guys getting your notifications? Because I want you to please have your notifications on because um, that way it will alert you when I've gone live or when I'm going live. And by the way, I love that people watch the replay. That's fantastic too. And please always do. If you're so inclined, if you're like Beatrice, you don't want to hear any more about it today. God bless you. God bless you. Yeah, it's a nice coffee. I know. Sometimes I like a manicure too. Did you hear Don tell the freaking Ronnie the raccoon story? His pet raccoon stepped in and his family. No, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I think I did hear that. Like Family Guy type. Yeah, I remember. I did hear that. I did hear that. I did. Getting notifications from 6 days earlier. Yeah. Don has addictions. Addicts find addictions. A lot of things. And YouTube is Don's new addiction. Yeah, well, he just doesn't. He doesn't have any camaraderie or friends or. Uh, and don't get me wrong, keeping him talking is always a good thing. Keep him talking. Keep him talking. That's totally fine. Donnie Griffin. If he wants to talk, then he wants to talk. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really want to talk too much about it, but um, yeah, it is happening. But I don't want to say anything more. I've been in contact with him. I have been in contact with the dive team. And but yeah, that I can independently confirm that something along those lines are happening, but I don't want to go into it too much because I've been asked by them not to go into it too much. But yes, no doubt. We all are. We all are. No, they didn't tell them no. No. I think they told them that they're wasting their time looking in the water. That's what I that's what I heard. I can't confirm that either, but um mm. Yeah, the thing about that place is that there's a lot of little ponds and lakes and little man-made crap here and there, and um but I believe law enforcement did say that she's not in the water, but I don't know how they would know that if they don't know where she is. So, but I think that they did say that. I'll actually try and confirm that for you guys. I'm not going to say where. They won't disclose where they're searching. They won't disclose where, when, for how long. They just, but yes. Yes, absolutely. It is not a waste of time. There's no such thing. Anybody got any better ideas? Law enforcement, you got a better idea? You should be happy that people are willing to help you out. Some amazing stuff. Some amazing people out there that do this for nothing. But here's the problem, Teresa. Nobody knows exactly what's been searched, how much it's been searched, how long it's been searched, what areas. We don't know because we're not being, you know, God bless law enforcement. I get critical of them, and then people go, "Wow, how dare you talk about law enforcement?" I'm not talking bad about law enforcement, but when I was speaking with Chris McDonough the other day, we were talking about this. We were talking about this case, and like with the Maya Millette situation, they were giving information, or they were giving updates on places that they searched, what they had found, or during their search, or what they hadn't found. But here's the other thing. They didn't talk about the spell uh um wasn't talking about all the other evidence, the whatever the freak he was doing, the spell casting and stuff. They weren't talking about that stuff, were they? No. I don't. No, I don't remember that actually. I don't. Anybody else remember that? I remember. Maybe they just have a yeah. I tend to agree with this, especially after Ronnie Lawson's statements just a few weeks ago. I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy. Somebody said the other day that public pressure is not needed. They don't need me to cast public pressure. But let me tell you something about that, because that kind of pissed me off, because you obviously don't know how cold cases work. Some cases get attention and some don't. And if you don't think for a second that me, Doug, AB, Tiffany, Molly, Chris McDonough. If you don't think that we have something to do with the exposure of this case, well, then you're just sadly mistaken. I've dedicated hours and hours and hours of my life discussing this case, trying to tell people about this case. You're late. You're late. You're late. Yeah, I do. I do, yes. And if, by the way, if anybody heard the police officer from Western Australia say, what did he say? There are ways to keep pressure on the police. Pressure doesn't mean kicking their door in, but the fact is, covering this case keeps pressure on them, just like Orrin and Orson. This is not, guys, this is not a well known case throughout the world, throughout the country. I can tell you, I live out here in California. Nobody's talking about it out here. I mean, maybe it'll get on Dr. Phil, but it's not something like that's going to capture everybody's attention for a long period of time. It has gone dips, peaks, then it dips, then it peaks, then something else happens, and then we all run and go, "Oh, this is what happened." And then last night was just another example of of a of more attention being brought because of what happens. And I'm not telling absolutely. And thank God. Yeah. Hey, Steph, how are you? Thank God. Thank God that people like Dr. Phil bring. Look, the behavioral panel, you can say whatever you want about those guys, but what I did hear them say is, hey, he said, one of the guys says, hey, you guys want to do a second part? And the one guy at the bottom that seemed pretty normal says, yeah, let's keep going until we find Summer. All right. Well, there you go. Let's keep going until we find Summer. I subscribe to that. Guys, thank you very much. Head on over to the lab and subscribe if you haven't. Lab 2.0. Check out No Thanks Investigates. Run Doug's if you guys got Doug's link in there, throw it up, or his backup channel. I believe he's going live later today. And I appreciate you guys all being here. Make sure to catch the replay, huh? If you haven't. Appreciate you guys. I guess we should do a roll call, right? I mean, let's go.